You don't want to go for authenticity. You want to go for consistency. Authenticity means I'm a little bit under the weather today, or I don't feel like doing this, so I'm just going to slap this together. That's an authentic feeling. That's okay, you're human. Consistency is I'm going to show up no matter what. Hi, my name is Damon Brown of DamonBrown.net. My main thing is helping you as a side hustler, a solopreneur, otherwise a non-traditional entrepreneur. Today we're going to talk about structure and why we need to have structure if we're going to be creative. When I was much younger, I thought that things need to be not necessarily chaotic, but that being structured about my creativity and how I showed up in the world would actually be too much of a boundary. But it's actually quite the opposite. When you have a sandbox to play in, you're able to do a lot more. There's actually a quote from the famous or popular public speaker, Mitch Joel, and a recent conversation I heard with him. And there's three major things I want to share about this amazing quote that I heard from him. If you're liking the programming as far as with being a side hustler or solopreneur, if this will help you get to the next level, please subscribe. It's Bring Your Work Show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Vegas time. You can subscribe for free. You can like for free, and also put some comments in there and share with other people, because you always can get there better together. All right, so this quote comes from Mitch Joel, again, a public speaker. I respect his work very, very much. He actually has a couple books that he has out too. I heard him speaking on the Speaker Lab, which is a popular podcast that talks about public speaking. And he said there's three different public speakers in the world, and it's related to his background in music. There's improv, there's concert, and there's classical. Those are the three types of public speakers, and in general, the performers. The challenge is that many want to be improv, think of comedians, improv, when they really should be concert or classical. Here's the killer quote. Many fail because they think they're improv, but how many people want to see U2 improv a new song at their concert? U2, one of the most popular groups in the world, probably in history at this point. They're doing some damage. And again, Mitch Joel used to work in the music industry. Powerful. Improv, which is what we think we're doing. Concert, which is a little bit more structured. And classical, which means all structure, all performance. This is worth breaking down, because I'm a public speaker. I used to be a DJ. I respect a lot of the elements of this, and you might be able to respect them too, but it applies to any type of performance. Performance including us showing up for our audience. So let's break this down. Number one, we need structure. We need structure. I think of so many people that have had said things at weddings. They've done toasts. They've spoken at their university or their college when they're graduating. And they've said to me, oh, I've done public speaking before. I know what I want to say. I'm just going to let it come out. Boy, do I have some stories. 99.9% of them did not work out well at all. And they forgot to mention people that were really pivotal. They forgot to say the main thing they were going to say. They got up there and got nervous as hell, which even I go through, even though I'm a professional public speaker. We need structure for this. I do some consulting for the Heroic Public Speaking. Shout out to them. I've been supporting their folks over there with their public speaking and their speeches. I also do some public speaking coaching through my private practice over at DamonBrown.net. In all cases, you need some type of structure. My structure happens to be based on index cards. Please don't read these because these are a mess. Based on index cards. And I will give you a quick example. My first TED Talk, which I did many years ago, I'll throw a link up here. I practiced it easily 300 or 400 times. It was a 3.5 minute TED Talk. What is that, 200 seconds? A little bit more than 200 seconds. 220 seconds. I practiced it 300 to 400 times, easy. If someone had a gun to my head, I probably could do it right now, even though I did that talk several years ago. It's like burned in my brain. That structure, that routine allows us to shine. So when I got up on the TED stage and I was scared as hell, probably had to change my underwear because I had never spoken on that level before. I just became a public speaker. So I wasn't even a professional at that time. Never even paid to public speak, nothing. All I had to do is focus on being present with the audience. I didn't have to worry about memorizing it. I literally knew my words backwards and forwards. I know what slides to go to. It was really straightforward. Without that structure, again, back to the sandbox analogy, it becomes this big mess. The problem though, is that when we look at other people, and myself included, I've gotten this feedback, which is flattering. When we look at other people, the main thing we say is that that's so easy. You wrote a 100,000 word book. I can do that. That looks easy. You spoke on a stage with 5,000 people in the audience. Oh, okay, I can do that. That looks easy. Oh, you came up with a startup idea and then within a year it got acquired. Oh, I can do that. It looks easy. We don't know how the sausage is made. For so many folks, and as I've gone up in my career, there's a lot of people that I admire. Some of the people in this bookshop that I've become friends with. And they're on a whole different echelon. They're world famous and all this stuff. And I'm humble enough to be in their circle. And I know what they go through. I know the structure that they have. It looks easy because there's structure. It's not that you don't need structure because it's easy. We get it mixed up. Joel hit the nail on the head. YouTube practices like crazy. They've been a well-oiled machine for probably the length of my lifetime. They started in the 70s. They know with or without you, they can do that blindfolded. It's one of their most famous songs. They can do that blindfolded. That's because they practiced it literally thousands of times at this point. But they're not going to go up there and improv. Number two, you want to have structure and have some type of strategy because circumstances change. Some of the talks that I've done, there's been major issues. There was one talk that I did where I started talking, I was opening the event, and all the technology went out. The microphone went out. I think the lights were still working, but there was no feedback from the speaker. And I was up there alone on the stage, waiting for them to fix it for, it had to be 15 minutes. And it's just me and the audience. I'm kicking off the event. I cracked a couple jokes and then I could just relax on stage. Luckily, I knew what I was going to say. There could be someone in the audience who doesn't like what you're saying. I've been heckled in the audience before, believe it or not. It's an experience. If you have structure, then your focus could be on handling the heckler. It could be staying calm while you're on stage while you're waiting for the equipment to get fixed versus trying to remember what the hell you're going to say. That goes for musicians, that goes for, again, public speakers, that goes for anything that's public facing. How are you going to show up? Lastly, number three, if you have structure to whatever you're presenting, however you're showing up, then you can be consistent. You can be consistent. As Seth Godin says, I talk about that in a recent video, I'll throw the link up, you don't want to go for authenticity, you want to go for consistency. Authenticity means, I'm a little bit under the weather today, or I don't feel like doing this, so I'm just going to slap this together. That's an authentic feeling. That's okay, you're human. Consistency is, I'm going to show up no matter what. You're able to be more consistent when you have some type of structure to what you're trying to do. Whether you're catching my keynotes, you hire me as a one-on-one coach at damonbrown.net, catch me at a conference, it's going to be the same Damon. I'll have my ups and down days, but my message will be consistent. You buy any of my books, my recent one, Build From Now, my new one, Career Remix, you can pre-order it at mycareerremix.com. Same message that you're getting from this YouTube channel. There's so much power in that. I will repeat that until I die. There's so much power in being consistent. Consistency builds compound interest. It builds trust. It builds clarity, even in your message. Because I'm showing up for you 3 times a week on this YouTube channel, because I show up in the ink column, I got at inkdamonbrown.com, and I got 600 columns, because I have my newsletter that you can get for free at joindamon.me, and I'm coming to you every Wednesday at 5:55 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My message has to be consistent. So that consistency breeds consistency. If you're improvising every time you do it, not only are you going to lose yourself, but you're going to lose your audience. You might get lost in the sauce, as they say. And what happens when you have a bestseller? What happens when you go viral? Does your intention change? Does your improv change? Remember, it's improv, concert, classical, as in Mitch Joel's words. Improv audience, unless you're Jerry Seinfeld, and even he practices the improv, watch the movie Comedian, which I highly recommend. I'll throw a link up here. One of my favorite movies as far as documentaries. Even the improvs aren't improving. Don't get it twisted. The concert folks, they're improving a little bit. I would actually be in that camp because again, I've made index cards, but otherwise, I'm flying without a net. The classical folks have it structured down to a T. I'm somewhere in between on the spectrum, but you need to have some type of structure if you're going to make an impact in the world and you're going to get further in your career. If you want more insight, be sure and subscribe at youtube.com/BrownDamon or click the link. I think it's about right there. Still working on my geography because everything's mirrored when you're recording. But do subscribe, like, again, share it with people who are on a similar journey to you. And then you guys can bond together, even argue about what I'm talking about in the video and hopefully give some insight to you. And be sure and check out my free playlist. I got one on passive income, one on routines, ones on making an impact in the world. All of them are free. They're all organized for you. I'm here for you. Until next time, remember you can bring your worth and that you can always build from now. Take care.